Hello everyone, welcome to the all-time high channel. My name is Vagif, and today finally I found the time to record a video review of a project I discovered on July 25th. On July 25th I just couldn't manage to record this video review, even though I wanted to share the information and talk about it as soon as possible. But unfortunately I just couldn't convey the essence of it in a post. I was more than sure that what was really needed was a video review. At that time, I hadn't seen any video guides or detailed breakdowns of this project. It's, let's say, under the radar, because there isn't a lot of money in it, but I see hidden potential that could eventually get hyped up if more people get involved. So, what am I talking about? I'm talking about the Glider project, so right away I want to tell you what you'll need to do. And if that's not what you're looking for, you can just skip this video. Actually, there's really not much you need to do here. This is mainly about deposits, about your portfolio. This project will be interesting for those who are holding crypto. So for example, if you're holding Ether or some other assets, and you can put part of those assets into this project and farm accordingly. Here, $1 is equal to 1 point. So in the end, we're farming as early users in this project just by depositing our balance. Brew yourself some tea, and now we'll break down how this works and why it could change the DeFi game. Let's go. Glider is next generation DeFi with a focus on simplicity and convenience. Just imagine a portfolio that invests by itself. No more constant clicking, no unnecessary hassle, and no loss of control. Glider essentially turns DeFi management into automatic autopilot, from setup in a minute to cross-chain and scheduled rebalancing. Glider is the autopilot for your crypto portfolio. Set it up once and Glider will rebalance, scale, or optimize your portfolio for you. John and Brian Huang are the founders. They launched Glider in 2024 after incubation at Anagram. Glider offers accessible tools for portfolio automation, which means it's an answer to the chaos in the DeFi sector. The project raised $4 million in a strategic round led by A16Z, elite investor, Coinbase, and others. And most importantly, I want to highlight Uniswap. That is, Uniswap are the pioneers. I want to draw your attention to them. They were the ones who, so to speak, opened up decentralized finance, the DeFi sector. It was precisely during the period from 2020 to 2021 when yield farming and all the other activity were just starting to emerge and gain momentum that Uniswap, so to speak, was at the center of it all. They know the topic and they gave out a really nice, hefty drop for using their platform. And let's put it this way, they really know their stuff in this area. That is, for me personally, their involvement in this project really stands out. I'll explain why a bit later. Next, we see that there's some kind of story unfolding here as well. On September 9th, Bloom Network. Here we have news. The Center Accelerator presents 140 applications, incredible apps from all over the world, 7 promising startups, and so on. So they're going to push this project Glider as well. And I think that once it starts gaining momentum, everyone will start promoting and posting about it. Right now, you can't just jump into this project so easily. So it's only by codes as well. But a bit later, I'll explain what's what. Yeah, by the way, look here. On RoboData, the data is a little different from CryptoRank. I don't understand why the base ecosystem isn't listed there. So here there's also base included additionally. That's why it's a pretty cool gathering, so to speak. The project already has subscribers. Base, Rain, Rainbow, Solana, Visa, and so on. Here's Anagram, SushiSwap for a start, that's pretty good. So here's the website and it has this kind of interesting face control, so to speak. So John Johnson and Brian Huang are the founders of Glider. They launched the project in 2024 after incubation at Anagram, and the available tools for portfolio automation are a response to the chaos. Also, team members have extensive experience in organizations such as XTX Markets, Meet, Nolix, and the well-known Matcha. John Johnson notes that Glider was created out of frustration with the complexities of cross-chain operations with the goal of fixing this technical chaos. And Brian Huang believes that DeFi has reached a plateau, and Glider is next-generation DeFi with a focus on simplicity and convenience. Glider is a financial orchestra for automated on-chain portfolios. In short, the project is aimed at the DeFi sector. It offers various tools and strategies. You could say to some extent it's like scripts that will execute depending on the conditions, settings, interest rates, and everything else you set for it. A wide variety of networks and different tokens will be used. All of this is worth studying, to some extent understanding for yourself, realizing what niche they occupy and where they are heading. In other words, this is, let's say, a new step in DeFi, because the DeFi sector has really reached its peak. There's nowhere else to go. But then a project comes along which says, no, that's not true. There's still room to grow and we will keep moving forward. So we have a case like this, and this case will be used by many platforms, many projects. They'll upload their schema to the backend via API keys, and through the front end, meaning the visual interface, they'll offer us their own options for buttons, settings, and so on. Where will this look user-friendly? Right now, actually, it all looks pretty complicated and is hard to grasp, hard for an average user to imagine, so to speak. But in our case, we understand that first and foremost, it's not ordinary users who should be using this, but rather various DEX, lending platforms, and so on. They will be the ones to figure it out, and how they provide us with a user-friendly interface and in what form it will be presented, that's their responsibility locally as well. So there's no need to dive too deeply right now into questions of what, how, and why. We just take it and do it. And of course, if we see and believe in this potential, so registration is done through connecting EVM wallets, an abstract address is created via the private project. Everyone already knows about it, right? Specifically, the private project creates abstract addresses for us. After that, you'll be asked to enter an invite code without which you won't be able to access the app and farm points. How do you get the code? There are two ways. One is through the website via the waitlist. And the second way is to ask on Twitter or look for codes in Discord, but usually they're mostly taken, meaning they've already been used up. Why does this happen? Because each invite allows you to invite a maximum of 3 people per day. If anyone needs invites, you can contact me directly or write in the channel. And in principle, I think there won't be any problems with that. At the start, we're offered 3 templates. These are just templates that we can either decline or accept the offer. But what's the point? The point is that right now, all of this only works on the basic ecosystem. And since we've missed that stage, we're being offered to create our portfolio from scratch. And what I'm suggesting is the safest option possible. So if you have Ether, you can deposit it here, and these points will be farmed. $1 equals 1 point. Right from the start, I want to outline all the risks and emphasize that this is not financial advice. I'm just sharing what I personally pay attention to, exactly what you're interacting with, and the inherent risks in this case can be quite standard, just like anywhere else in the broader crypto space. That is, the platform can be hacked, liquidity can be withdrawn, and so on. So we understand this and accept these potential risks. That's why we always deposit only the amount we're willing to lose. By the way, what's my tag? So if I have some Ether, right, just holding it, and I don't care about its price, I'm holding it for the long term, then the portion I'm willing to lose, I'm ready to put into this project. And all I need to do is simply select from these available settings, then choose and adjust it for the Ether that I currently have. So here we have several distinct indicators, an equal indicator, a percentage-based indicator, and one based on the overall market cap. If we select the first one, acquire, and that's the one we need to choose to avoid risks, so to speak, then all we need to do next is select assets, meaning the asset we're going to deposit. But as you can clearly see, these specific parts here are still not readily available yet. And there are also many different formulations and various conditions here under which you can truly create a comprehensive portfolio that just absolutely breaks all the conventional modes. But if you manage to figure this out, it's truly just a must-have, so to speak, for the entire DeFi sector. I will talk more about that in a bit later, but right now I just want to clearly highlight how incredibly easy it is to simply deposit your valuable Ethereum. And simply, if you have it sitting in your wallet, you can also deposit it here into this project. Here, moving on, you just select Ethereum, nothing else to do. Click Create Portfolio. Then you can name it something like ETHbase. Here a description. Here, in principle, you can actively compete with various diverse portfolios of your very own. You can also propose your unique concept, which other people can readily copy for themselves, utilizing it as a customizable template. And you can also copy various different strategies and so on. So here you can even write a detailed description if you have really figured out this particular project. You can also add different relevant and popular hashtags here. That's it. After you've carefully made your final decision, click and securely sign the transaction to finalize everything. Done, the transaction is successfully signed. Here, we're asked to carefully select a token. So in fact, this is currently a beta version, so it is quite limited. And among the tokens, only Ether on the base network is offered to us. First, select Ether, then choose the exact amount you wish to deposit. Well, just as a quick example, I will deposit 5 whole bucks there and then proceed to click the deposit button. Everyone has deposited funds, now click on Start Portfolio. Alright, let's continue. Click on Continue. Okay, so here we have, what do we have here? What do we see? We see that we can edit the portfolio. So if you suddenly change your mind and want to adjust your strategy, for example, make it 50% Ethereum and 50% Bitcoin or stablecoins or anything else, then we click on Edit Portfolio. Share means we can share our portfolio with someone so they can copy it, use it as intended, follow you there, and so on, copying your actions. And the first thing that catches our eye is the timer. That is, in 52 minutes there will be a rebalance. Basically, the main purpose of this project is to automatically rebalance your portfolio. So we can add different schemes and it will execute them at different times. But if you want to speed up the process, then accordingly, that's already a paid subscription. Overall, actually, everything here is very simple. First of all, we connect the wallet, enter the invite code, go in, create a portfolio with a token like this and make a deposit. If we need to add more to the deposit, we click Deposit, select this option, and then the connected wallet offers us options from the base network. There's also this section which has different networks and accordingly addresses. We can also track them in the bank and everything else. But what's the point? The point is that it's not worth sending funds to these networks right now. They aren't supported by Glider. And yes, the money will be in your account, but you won't be farming any points, so don't send it. How did I do it? For example, let's say I have WELL, right? The WELL token on the base network. I have just successfully copied this particular address and then proceeded to send my WELL tokens directly to it. So essentially, you can now send not only your valuable ETH, but also various different tokens that are operating on the base network directly here to this specific address. They will show up here and they will appear not as ETH, but for example as the WELL token, the Aerodrome token, and so on. But if you want to withdraw this token, say for example Aerodrome, right now you won't be able to withdraw it directly because withdrawals are only supported in ETH. So we see that withdrawals are available. Well, actually, I'm not sure. Maybe it's because I don't have it here. Although you can check in another portfolio. Okay, so it turns out that withdrawals are indeed available here, right? For any tokens on the base network. So we can withdraw directly to our own address. For example, we can go to Discord and see that there was a contest here for the best strategies and portfolios. And one of the participants, I remember, presented everything here in a pretty interesting way as an option. Here we see that 25% is in USDC, 25% in USDT, and 25% of the current price of Zora is less than its value. Then, specifically for Zora, a significant portion of 10% is allocated to bread and an additional 15% is designated for hire. So by implementing well thought out and strategic approaches like these, you are effectively able to meticulously create and manage your portfolio rebalancing efforts, ensuring optimal distribution and adjustment of your investments over time. And right now, by the way, portfolio rebalancing is actually paid for by the project itself. Well, I couldn't find any information about whether this will be free forever or if they will eventually start charging a fee, but it seems like they should be making money from commissions somehow. So right now it's all free. So keep that in mind. If you create a portfolio with several assets, pay attention to what's happening with the project. If they suddenly announce that the free cheese is over, then these rebalancings could end up eating into your deposit. What else is particularly interesting and noteworthy here? So here is the comprehensive dashboard where essentially all of your various portfolios will be clearly displayed as of this current day, along with the specific points you're actively farming and accumulating there and so on, providing a complete overview. Mol, Sam, Next, explore is everything offered by the community. That is, those who have shared their portfolios are offering options to use their strategies. For example, if we were to go to someone else's particular scheme, here we genuinely have a truly virtuous and thriving ecosystem. So everything is based on percentages, right? The person has allocated the percentages and rebalancing happens according to these percentage ratios. There is also create, which is self-explanatory. We create a portfolio. There is a referral section where we can see the leaderboard, which is currently unavailable. How many people have been invited? Invite allows a maximum of 3 participants per day, so I also don't really want to hand out invites left and right, because if you suddenly want to invite someone else is always using it, and well, it just doesn't feel right. Also about the referral system. It's a 3-level system: 30%, 5% and 3%. Now about Discord. Here's the manual for roles. To start farming E-points, you need to connect your Twitter and you'll get the Drip Gang role. After that, these sections will open up for you: leaderboard, FAQ for all questions, dashboard and daily loot box. So every day you can also collect 10 of these points here. There are weekly ones too, but that's for each role. To buy or get a role, you need to farm a certain number of emeralds, and after that you can come here and buy roles. For example, you need to buy them step by step. So if I want the one for 700 and I click here, it'll tell me I don't have the previous role. So I actually need to buy the one for 200 first. That's how it works. Confirm it, and after that you can buy the next role. And now you need to farm up to this 700 role. That's how you buy it. Here we have quests. Everything is pretty clear here. Subscriptions, and then you need to put a bat glider in your bio. There was also a portfolio. You could submit yours and get 75 emeralds for it. There were also limited time quests, but I didn't manage to complete them. So you need to keep monitoring and collecting these emeralds this way. Now what's the point? The point is that when the mainnet launches, that is, when they officially announce that the project has gone live on mainnet, all this farming, these emeralds will disappear, they won't be available anymore, you won't be able to buy this role, and they'll remain with us forever as our, well, some small achievements basically in Discord, and accordingly most likely they'll also play a role in some rewards. In general, I've highlighted this project for you at an early stage. Look into it yourself, make your own decisions based on your strategy and risk management, and consider all the risks. But I believe that in this project you can farm points and do it passively as well. You could just stick to a mono portfolio and not worry about any kind of rebalancing or movements. But for those who are interested in this topic, you can really dive deep into strategies, study them, and so on. So basically, I suggest at least taking some minimal step in this direction. And again, this is not financial advice. Let's see what comes of it. But right here and now, it's worth paying attention to this, spending 15 minutes of your time and already, so to speak, being in the loop. That's all. Thank you, everyone. Subscribe to the channel, rate the video, leave likes or dislikes, and join us on our Telegram All Time High, where we post content very often. Right now, we're working closely on the D3 Home project. You could also say this project is connected with RWA and it has great potential, so stay tuned for updates. Good luck to everyone, hugs to all, and goodbye.